Chief guest of today's inaugural ceremony, Shri Rohit Deo, former Judge, Bombay High Court, guest of honor, Dr. Imtiaz Ali Khan, Director, Directorate of Safety, Reliability and Quality, ISRO, respected Director, Professor Dr. Sukhwinder Singh Dari, Dr. Aditi Godbole, Faculty in Charge, Moot Court Association, our esteemed faculty members and administrative staff, fellow students, and all the participants. A very warm and pleasant afternoon to you all. I, Ankur Deshpande, alongside Shreya Joshi, welcome you all to the inaugural ceremony of the Space Law Moot Court Competition 2025, organized by the Symbiosis Law School, Nagpur, in collaboration with Antrix.
On behalf of the Symbiosis Law School Nagpur family, we take immense pride in fostering a culture of legal reasoning, research, and advocacy. Moot is not just an academic exercise, it is an experience that mirrors real world litigation, demanding precision, strategy, and intellectual rigor. This competition, being our 8th Moot Court competition hosted at the national level, is a testament to our commitment to preparing law students for the challenges of legal practice. We are delighted to welcome teams from distinguished law schools across the country, each bringing their expertise, dedication, and passion for mooting. Your participation strengthens the competitive spirit and collaborative learning that this event seeks to cultivate.
Space law, as an emerging and dynamic field, plays a pivotal role in addressing the complex regulatory and compliance challenges arising from humanity's increasing ventures beyond Earth. As advancements in science and technology push the boundaries of exploration, new legal questions inevitably surface, requiring thoughtful interpretation and innovative legal frameworks. This competition aims to provide a platform for participants to engage with contemporary issues in space law and foster critical thinking, rigorous research, and meaningful contribution in this area. Before we proceed, I request IT support to play a short film taking us through the symbiosis journey.
This is the story of a man who dared to dream and persevered to make his dream come true. The story of a visionary Indian who thought differently and made an enormous difference to the lives of thousands of students all over the world. The story of Dr. Shantaram Balwant Mujumdar, the founder of Symbiosis. It began when Dr. Mujumdar, the rector of the boys' hostel at Pune's historic Ferguson College, was spending a quiet afternoon in his quarters. All students from India had left for their Diwali vacation. Only students from other countries had stayed back. Suddenly, Dr. Mujumdar's attention was drawn by the sight of a girl student. She was standing under a window of the boys' hostel, stealthily passing a small parcel to a boy inside. Suspecting mischief, Dr. Mujumdar went to the room to investigate. What he saw there left him disturbed and distressed. The girl had gone there to provide food to a Mauritian boy suffering from jaundice. The incident left a deep impact on Dr. Mujumdar's mind and a void in his heart. He was so moved by the experience that he resolved to improve the plight of foreign students studying in India. Symbiosis was thus born in 1971 from the seed of a dream sown by its founder, Dr. Mujumdar. His dream was to create an educational institute where, in his own words, students from all over the world would live, study, eat and play together in an atmosphere of peace, harmony, mutual respect, and acceptance of cultural diversity. An institute from where foreign students would return to their countries as friends and ambassadors of our nation. Dr. Mujumdar, himself a professor of botany, chose the name Symbiosis, the word biologists use to describe a mutually beneficial relationship between two living organisms. The guiding philosophy behind his endeavor was Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or the world is one family. Today, the Symbiosis sapling has grown into a large tree. Symbiosis International University's campus on Senapati Bapat Road in Pune, the first campus of Symbiosis, is a landmark in the city. Dr. S.P. Mujumdar also established a memorial and a museum in Pune to commemorate the life and ideals of Dr. Baba Saheb Ambedkar. Symbiosis is also known for its unique Afro-Asian Cultural Museum, a treasure trove of cultural, historical, and artistic heritage that showcases the beauty and diversity of various countries. Over time, Symbiosis has come to dwell not just within the walls of its many institutes, but also in countless hearts the world over. Symbiosis is the laughter of students and the quintessence of education. A world-renowned, multicultural, multilingual, and multidisciplinary educational institution, Symbiosis now has state-of-the-art campuses in Pune, Bengaluru, Noida, Nashik, Hyderabad, and Nagpur. Symbiosis International University is also bringing world-class education to the Middle East with a campus in Dubai. The university hosts thousands of students from around the world. The university has multiple institutions in diverse disciplines of study: law, management, computer studies, medical and health sciences, media and communication, humanities and social sciences, engineering, architecture and design. Symbiosis Center for Corporate Education Pune offers recognized long-term and short-term programs for the corporate fraternity. Symbiosis Center for Health Skills is a multidisciplinary educational facility that provides training for skilling, upskilling, and reskilling of healthcare professionals using part-task trainers and high-tech simulation. The university is also in the forefront of research in diverse areas such as advanced legal studies and research, waste resource management, stem cell research, nanoscience and nanotechnology, medical image analysis, behavioral studies, applied artificial intelligence, entrepreneurship and innovation, research in media and creative industries, Center for Ambedkar Studies. Over the years, Symbiosis has excelled in three avatars: culture, education, and health. Physical, mental, social, and spiritual. Symbiosis truly embodies the transformative vision manifest in the country's national education policy aimed at creating global citizens with Indian values, which has also been the focus of Symbiosis throughout its illustrious journey of more than 50 years. In keeping with the university's larger social commitment, the Medical College and the 900-bedded state-of-the-art Symbiosis University Hospital and Research Center are dedicated to serving humanity. This is evident in their commendable service to people in the many villages and hamlets around the lovely campus. These institutions have been instrumental in ensuring the well-being of the community, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Symbiosis Community Outreach Program and Extension, or SCOPE, is working towards the sustainable, comprehensive, and integrated development of the villages located in the vicinity of Symbiosis International University's main campus. The university continues to attract a multitude of well-known leaders celebrities, personalities. A lesser known facet of symbiosis is the wealth that Mother Nature has bestowed upon it. The university campus at Lovely is home to a large variety of flora and fauna. In March 2022, on the proud occasion of the Golden Jubilee of Symbiosis, the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi, inaugurated Symbiosis Arogyadham.
50 years ago, the idea germinated in my mind to promote friendship and understanding between foreign and Indian students and thereby promote international understanding. Today, we are celebrating Golden Jubilee of this golden idea.
कि 50 साल की आपके पास एक ऐसी पूंजी है, अनुभव की पूंजी है, अनेक एक्सपेरिमेंट करते करते आप यहां पहुंचे हैं। एक खजाना है आपके पास, ये खजाना भी देश के काम आएगा। आप फले फूले और यहां पर आने वाले हर बच्चा अपना उज्जवल भविष्य बनाने के लिए आत्मविश्वास के साथ निकल पड़े। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, बहुत बहुत शुभकामनाएं।
For Symbiosis International University, the world was, is, and will always be its family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam.
With that, it is my privilege to invite our esteemed director, Professor Dr. Sukhwinder Singh Tari, to deliver the welcome address.
Very good afternoon to one and all present here. Honorable Shri Justice Rohit Sir, former Judge Bombay High Court, respected Mr. Imtiaz Ali Khan sir. Sir is also the Directorate of ISRO Headquarters, Department of Space, Government of India. My colleague, Dr. Aditi Gorbole, Deputy Director, Dr. Deepti, teaching, non-teaching staff, and dear students. It's my immense pleasure to stand before you and welcome you all to Symbiosis Law School, Nagpur and Antrix Corporation Limited, State Law Moot Court Competition 2025. Let me first take this opportunity to welcome our Chief Guest, Honorable Justice Rohit Sir. So thank you so much for always supporting and blessing this institution. We are honored with your presence. I also like to welcome our guest of honor. Thank you so much, Imtiaz sir, for supporting us. And we have delivered a wonderful lecture today morning to the students. And I have received so much feedback from the student to invite you again. I request you to please keep coming to the institution, because I think this is an area which all students are trying to explore more. Thank you so much for that, and I welcome you to this event as well. I'd also wish to welcome our chief guest and the guest of honor on behalf of the Chancellor, Dr. Symbiosis sir, Corporal Chancellor Dr. Vidya, and the Vice Chancellor Dr. Ramakrishnan Raman. Dear students, it's a proud moment for this law school, because it's the first law school, I believe, in our country who got an opportunity to collaborate with Antrix Corporation Limited, which is a commercial wing of ISRO. This shows the dedication of my entire team and of this law school to look forward to some area and explore the area which has a potential in future. With that intention, this is not our first, this is our 8th moot competition which we have started. In past also, we have a privilege of having collaboration with prestigious institutions like National Human Rights Commission, Competition Commission of India, Maharashtra State Biodiversity Board, to name the few. But this year, I'm proud to script the history that we are collaborating with Antrix Corporation. This is an opportunity for us, and also to all the participants whom I welcome first, and also wish them all the best for the competition. I believe that when we collaborate with such reputed institutions, the level of the event also goes very high, where the learning will also move. So I wish you all the best, and hope you learn a lot from this competition and take something back to your institution and share with your peers. With this, I welcome each one of you once again to this inaugural set. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your insightful words. I now request sir to kindly felicitate our chief guest, Shri Rohit Dev, former Judge, Bombay High Court. I now request sir to felicitate our guest of honor, Dr. Imtiaz Ali Khan. We are deeply honored to welcome our esteemed guest of honor, Dr. Imtiaz Ali Khan, a distinguished scientist and leader in India's space program. Mr. Khan holds a BE and ME in chemical engineering. Beginning his illustrious career at the Vikram Sarabhai Space Center in the year 1999, he contributed significantly to the development of solid propellant rocket motors for PSLV, GSLV, and other key ISRO missions, including Chandrayaan-1. His pioneering work earned him the ISRO Young Scientist Award, the Team Achievement Award, and the prestigious HEMSI MR Kurup Gold Medal. His career has spanned diverse and influential roles, including serving as Counselor Space at the Embassy of India in Paris, representing India at the United Nations Council for the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space, and strengthening international collaborations with leading space agencies. As officer on special duty at the Department of Space, he was instrumental in securing cabinet approvals for landmark projects such as the Human Spaceflight Program and GSLV Mark III. More recently, he has led the Human Spaceflight Center, overseeing astronaut training and the Gaganyaan program, while also initiating collaborations for India's astronaut mission to the International Space Stations with NASA and Axiom Space. Currently serving as Directorate of Safety, Reliability, and Quality at ISRO headquarters. Dr. Khan continues to shape India's space journey with his vision and expertise. His presence today is an inspiration to us all, and we are privileged to have him among us. Now, it is my privilege to invite Sir to kindly address the gathering and share a few inspiring words.
Thank you very much for a nice introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. Chief guest of the day, Honorable Shri Justice Rohit Sir, Director of the Institute for Resources of the VP, senior faculty members, and all the students and participants who come to the parts of the country. Let me say, indeed, it's a proud privilege to be here to this beautiful campus and interact with you all on this important occasion when the space moon competition, the moon competition for space was taking place. What I believe is that this moment at which this event is being organized in this institute, I think it's a very important moment. And I'll take a few minutes to explain why I say this. So I would like to just draw how the international events are shaping up as far as the space activities are concerned in the world. But if you just look back, initially when countries like the erstwhile Soviet Union and the United States of America, they started their space activities in the late 1950s and early 1960s. This was more or less an offshoot of their defense industry, and this was the post-World War II era, and there was Cold War going on. And this was more or less to establish the supremacy and was born out of competition. And this was a time when there was a race between the two major powers, and they wanted to be the first ones to reach space or land on moon and things like that. And then they continued, I think the race continued over the next 3 or 4 decades. And then most of the government programs, I think other countries also sort of, India, China, Japan, South Korea, the European Space Agency, and other countries also started their space programs and they started different paths for themselves. India, as a nation, our priorities were different at that point of time. So we are looking more at the problems of the society because we were a nation just out of 200 years of British rule, and we were struggling for basic needs and necessities within the country. So we were not the ones who sort of look at the Western powers and compete with them. And this was very clearly defined by Professor Vikram Sarabhai in a vision. When he said that ours is not to compete with international qualifications, but we are here to harness space technology for the use of humankind. And this is what we did over the next 6 decades or so. We looked at satellite communication, we looked at satellite navigation, Earth observation, remote sensing, and then there were some space exploration missions. I think we managed to do a handful of those, including Chandrayaan 1, in the Mars orbit mission. So while the world was competing and going from strength to strength, we were also building our capabilities, we're building our industry. And not just in one domain, but we're looking at across the sector. We're building our launch capabilities from the very modest sounding rockets which would just go to the atmosphere to huge launch vehicles which would take our satellites to space. But we were also building satellites in all the domains, enhancing the resolution, building more and more transponders in the satellites, making NAVIC possible as navigation, constellation, and achieving the exploration missions. But if you see over the last 2 decades or so, these advanced stations, they have given way to industries. Now the industries are taking over largely to see across the world, SpaceX, Boeing, Blue Origin, even in Japan, Mitsubishi, even in China, if you see Long March or Great Wall Industrial Corporation. So these industries are slowly taking over the space research, and thereby the envelope has widened a lot. They are able to do much more than what governments could do because the number of hands that are contributing, the number of minds that are contributing is much larger. As a result of that, if we follow the recent events, SpaceX is able to build huge constellations for the broadband satellites, and perhaps Blue Origin is also following the same. OneWeb constellation is also coming up. In Marsat constellation is also coming up. So industry is acting as a force multiplier. Likewise, within our country also, the government has taken a cue from what has been happening in SPARE. So we cannot be oblivious to what is happening around us. And in 2020, we came up with these space reforms, and we came up with our own Indian space policy in 2023, which establishes the Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center in space as the agency to authorize the private sector to end-to-end space activities. And ISRO focuses on the R&D, the NSIL, which is the CPSC, and the Antrix, which is also the co-organizer for this meeting. They focus on commercializing whatever research and development ISRO has done over the years. Now, if you talk about what does the international legal framework, as it stands today, what does it comprise of? So there is actually, just these 4 or 5 treaties or conventions that constitute the international legal framework. There is the Outer Space Treaty of 1967. Then there is Agreement on Rescue of Astronauts and Space Objects. There is Convention on Liability. Then there is Convention of Registration. And then there is the Moon Agreement, which is actually not agreed by most of the countries. The first 4, of course, are agreed by most of the spacefaring nations. So India is also aligned with all these. We have signed all of them. We have ratified all of them, excepting the Moon Agreement, because acceptability, as I said, by word is not really so much. But these treaties were framed at a point of time when the technology was limited. over the years, miniaturization of satellites has taken place. You have additive manufacturing coming in, artificial intelligence coming in. So this was not envisaged at that time. One feels that today the scope of activities is enhanced. People are talking about space tourism, space resources exploration. There are industries that are planning to go to meteoroids or moon or Mars or other planets and mine material. There is one asteroid which is like almost 95% made of platinum. So that's the kind of wealth that is there on these bodies. So as far as outer space treaty is concerned, it makes space as a common heritage of mankind and it doesn't allow for appropriation. So one can see that how to interpret this. And every country is trying to interpret this as per their own advantage. Where the industries have already progressed to a large extent, they want to let go of these industries, let them permit, let them explore on their own and bring value back. Whereas there are industries which are lagging behind, so they don't want this to happen so quickly because it's not very comfortable for them. So I think we don't want to get caught napping at this point of time. We also, because we have progressed to a large extent as far as technology is concerned. If you see any of the domains, be it launch vehicle, be it spacecraft, or any of the applications, I think we are at par with the world today. And recently, we have also got into the domain of human space flight. So now, all the domains of space activities we've entered. So there's nothing that we are lacking in terms of technology, in terms of expertise. The industries have also matured over the years. So I think the time is right now to let the industry explore and chart its own path. And that is where the contribution from this community needs to come. You all need to brainstorm, to think, you all need to innovate, you all need to find how and when we need to come up with our own sort of paras to these agreements that are getting involved at the international arena. You hear about Artemis Accords being proposed by NASA. There is also discussion going on take space resources, building blocks to the mechanism which is still evolving. There are discussions going on long-term sustainability of outer space activities. So the guidelines are getting framed. So all these are areas where there's a lot of thinking involved. So I would like to call upon the people present here to think about these subjects, to see how it fits into our own, path that we have charted for ourselves. We need not copy from others, as we've done always. Let us see what is the priority for us, where we stand today, and connect the dots. And here I would like to go back to the movie that was played earlier, and I would just take something from them, and I would like to, invoke all of you to take the message there that when you chart your own path, I'm not going to lecture you on hard work, commitment, dedication, because I think you all have done that to reach here. But the point that I would like to draw is that when you do these activities, what is important is to be compassionate, to be human, to be tolerant, to be inclusive. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your inspiring words and for gracing us with your presence. We are equally honored to have among us chief guest for today's inaugural ceremony, Sri Rohit Dev, an eminent jurist whose distinguished career reflects both excellence and dedication to the legal profession. Sir pursued his Bachelor of Commerce and later obtained his LLB, securing the second rank in order of merit and earning gold medals in subjects such as company law, interpretation of statutes, and Hindu law. He joined the bar in 1986 and trained in the chambers of senior advocate Sri S.P. Dharmadhikari before establishing an extensive practice at the Nagpur bench of the Bombay High Court. Over the years, he appeared in all forums of law, conducted numerous civil and criminal trials, and regularly represented clients before the district court, labor courts, and the tribunals. He has served as an A-panel counsel and a special counsel for the state of Maharashtra, as well as a counsel for the nationalized banks and the public undertakings. His career includes notable roles as special counsel for the Sales Tax Department and the RTMNU. In 2014, he was appointed as the Assistant Solicitor General of India, and in 2016, he assumed the prestigious position as the Advocate General for the state of Maharashtra. Later elevated as judge of the Bombay High Court in 2017, Sir's contributions to the judiciary have been marked by integrity, erudition, and a deep commitment to justice. His presence today as a chief guest is an honor, and his journey stands as a source of inspiration for the entire legal fraternity. Now, it is my privilege to invite Sir to kindly address the gathering and share a few inspiring words with us.
Thank you, Miss, for reminding what I have done until date. I really forgotten. So, the distinguished guest of honor, Mr. Imtiaz Ali Khan, the esteemed director, Dr. Dari, the esteemed, I came to know just now, deputy director, Dr. Dipti, Dr. Aditi, whom incidentally I know from her childhood, other esteemed members of the faculty, my dear friends, the students, the participants, and administrative staff. A very good morning, evening, rather, a very good evening to all of you. It's indeed a privilege and honor to be a part of your inaugural ceremony and particularly to share the days with an eminent man of science. The opportunities come few and far in between for a person of law to share a dais with scientists. When I was extended an invitation, to be honest, I told Aditi, Dr. Aditi, that look, I'll be all at sea because neither as a lawyer nor as a officer nor as a advocate general, much less as a judge, have I come across space laws. And then she was kind enough to assure me, sensing my apprehension and predicament, that look, you have to talk on any subject with which you are comfortable, and you are not expected to talk on that space laws. So that's how I, felt relieved. Since the inaugural ceremony is of moot court competition, it would be apt to introspect on what was the purpose of introducing moot courts in the curriculum. Now, whether we like it or not, whether we admit it or not, or we choose to stay in a state of denial, you see, the fact of the matter is the skill sets, and I have spoken about it even in the past, the skill sets which a law student acquires in the legal education system do not equip him sufficiently to deal with the courtroom expectations and requirements. Now, this is not a fault of the legal system. This is not something attributable entirely to the legal system. Law, by definition, is neither a science in entirety nor an art in entirety. It is rightly clubbed in the social science category. So while there are set principles which in a way like applied science, we can apply to the facts before us. We do not have the facility of an in-house laboratory. A student of medicine can perhaps hone his skills. I don't know whether the patients are aware or not, but he can be in a live, hands-on situation. A student of pure science can be there in the laboratory and test the premise, test the hypothesis. A law student has no such facility. It's not possible for a law student to practically be in a live situation or a situation which would simulate the actual court proceedings. Now, the gulf between what you learn and what we as judges expect from young lawyers is quite large. And to cross the bridge between the skill sets which we acquire, or which rather you acquire as a law student, to the requirements of the courtroom. Amongst others, moot court was considered to be a tool to make your transition journey smoother. Now, there are other tools which the system provides. However, the internship concept has not really worked. What is my experience personally is that very few students, and that too if they are well connected or extraordinary, one of the two, they get an opportunity to work with senior lawyers or the Supreme Court and the High Court judges. But having internship experience, which matters, is not a privilege which every student or most of the students have. Now, coming to the moot court, as I told you, it is a tool. How far does it work? And how effectively does it work? Moot court will surely hone your research skills, depending upon whether you are a law student who believes in reading commentaries, or a law student who merely would go to Mr. Google, put in a search word, find out a judgment on platter and use it without knowing the backdrop, without knowing the development of law. That's entirely up to you. But if done in the right manner, it would surely hone your research and analytical skills, your writing skills, because you are expected to present a brief. Now, so far, so does moot court hone your courtroom skills also? Does it simulate the court environment? Now, again, that would really depend on how the moot courts are conducted. There are moot courts which I have personally, come across where the judges are maybe the final year students for some rounds, maybe some judge would come for the final, so on and so forth. But unless you have judges who know the subject, who are in a position to extract the best from the participants, who can give the participants the test of baptism by fire, as we put it. Moot court may not be as effective as it should be to prepare you for the challenges and at times the whims and vagaries of the courtroom. But it surely would prepare you, one, or help you to maybe overcome a stage fright, perhaps. Maybe it could help you to sharpen your oratorial skills, yes. But simulation of a court environment would entirely depend on how effectively the moot court judges are chosen and how effectively they do their job of really getting the depth of the knowledge of the participants and their analytical skills. So I told you that the gap is substantial. The gulf is humongous between the theoretical expertise and knowledge which we acquire in a law school and what is required. So that's not the only challenge. When you pass out, which many of you, I believe, would be doing in near future, you would be faced with the classical dilemma. What do I do? Do I choose litigation? Do I opt for the corporate culture, law firms? Now, I'm not suggesting for a moment that one is better than the other, or there is more hard work in one branch, in the litigation branch, in the other. However, the challenges which you will be facing if you opt for litigation would be different in dimension and magnitude. If you join a law firm, you surely would be expected to put in 10 to 14 hours. However, your journey would be more comfortable in terms of the security which the law firm offers, a financial security. It would be a structured professional journey. There is a pattern. You join a law firm, you work like a donkey, 14 hours, then after some time you are an associate, then a junior partner, then a senior partner, plenty of money, and at a stage in your life, you can just delegate the work to your juniors and then have a family life. That is a pattern which would not change even 30 years, 40 years hence, unless artificial intelligence steps in and obliterates the need of lawyers. That is a fact. If you choose to join litigation, then comes serious challenges and problems. One, the financial security. Unless you are fortunate enough to be a second generation lawyer, and have a practice which is for you to inherit. I know as a first generation lawyer what are the problems faced. So we should be ready to put in 4-5 years of serious work, unlimited working hours, unlimited energy, and then maybe after 5 years, you'll be on a comfortable path finish. That is not all. If you are a first generation lawyer, you would notice immediately that you start your career with some inherent, unfortunately, some inherent handicap. Like in both, there's a different sort of a handicap. But there is you'll come across the uncle syndrome. You'll find the sons, daughters of established lawyers getting that much, privileged treatment, even in the courtroom. You will just look at them and you will feel, well, he's doing so well financially and I'm a struggler. I have more merit, whatever, comes to your mind. These are all just a few of the challenges which you will be facing when you join litigation, which you have no option but to overcome with patience and hard work. Then, as a litigation lawyer, you would face hostility even from the bench. Sometimes, I'm not generalizing, but unfortunately, we are in an adversarial system where the members of the higher judiciary live in ivory towers. So the colonial mindset thus persists. The judges do not take very kindly to even constructive and legitimate criticism. So, as a litigation lawyer, you have a tightrope to walk. You have to protect your client's interests, which is your foremost duty. There is nothing more noble than that, nothing more sacred than protecting your client's interests. You owe a duty also to the court. You can't be a mouthpiece of your client only. You have to be fair to the court, honest to the court, truthful to the court. Now, despite all that, you would be tested. Your character would be tested. You would find that few of the members of the judiciary would try to be overbearing, maybe put their views across in a manner which, as a young lawyer, you may not be in a position to really respond. As you grow old, one tends to be cynical, and then one understands. One tends to be kind. One tends to understand that judges are also human beings. So such, idiosyncrasies are forgotten and forgiven. But as a sensitive young lawyer, these are all challenges in the working environment. Uh, you are perhaps aware, since we are talking about the judges living, particularly here in Ivory Tower, and the colonial mindset of which I know, we have inherited from the British, still plaguing this thing, where every criticism is considered to be bordering on the contempt. Even a constructive criticism is not taken very charitably. Compare this with the country from which we have inherited this system. You are aware, surely everybody must be aware of that 1987 this strike action case, where after the judgment, a prominent British newspaper published photographs of the 5 members of the House of Lords, and with the headline, bold headline on the front page, "You old fools." Now, Lord Templeman, who probably I'm not sure, authored the judgment, only responded by saying that we are old, that is a fact. Whether we are fools, it's a matter of opinion. The House of Lords did not issue a notice of contempt. Can you imagine what would happen in some other country? If a prominent English newspaper publishes photographs after the judgment with this or even less offensive banner. So that maturity, those broad shoulders to take a constructive criticism on the chin and just smile it away may not be something which you would come across. Having said that, I do not want to appear cynical. All that I'm trying to briefly tell you that it's not going to be a hunky-dory sort of a journey in your life. Your individual demons, individual battles would be there as a litigation lawyer and also as a corporate lawyer. The challenges which the system throws at you would be there. And after all this, the most serious challenge is whether you have the character to make a conscious decision that for you, law would not be only a profession or a vocation. Surely law is not a business or trade. But is it only a profession? Is it only an avocation? It is not. It's something more. I do not have to tell you now, the time also does not permit it, the role played by lawyers. Forget about in India, but even in the United States of America, where most of the public men, the presidents, the governors, the lawmakers have been lawyers. I recollect what Janet Reno said once. Janet Reno was the first woman Attorney General of the United States of America, who was appointed by Bill Clinton. And it was she, and you find it difficult to imagine, serving under Bill Clinton. She was the Attorney General who directed an inquiry against Bill Clinton. Can you imagine something of this sort happening in some other country? not in the wildest imagination. Now, she famously said, law is not an avocation, it's public trust. You are repository of public trust, and it's your obligation to give back to the community which has given you so much. So your entire journey from a young law student to maybe try to imagine what would you be after 30 years or 20 years would be defined not only by your hard work, by your talent, but also by your character. And life gives a chance to everyone, particularly if you happen to hold an office, not a litigation lawyer, but a natural progression. If you happen to hold an office, you would surely once in your lifetime, and you should be proud if you are faced with such a situation, come across an occasion where your values would be tested, where your character would be tested, where something would be expected of you which you would not be doing. That is an occasion we should live for. My young friends, please remember that talent, importance of which cannot be undermined for sure, but talent alone would not lead you anywhere. It's famously said that hard work beats talent. If talent does not work hard enough. So if you have talent and you put in hard work, it's an ideal situation. Even if you have a moderate talent, or maybe if you are average, I know at least of 100 individuals in my life who at best were average, but by sheer strength of hard work, they have achieved glory in the legal profession. Many of them have occupied, high public offices, including judicial offices. I know people who came from Makusil, my friend, so a dear friend of mine, obviously can't be named, who came from Makusil, who did not know how to, write a paragraph in English, and who in maybe 3-4 years became extremely proficient in the Queen's language and a good legal practitioner. Now he's a judge. So these are all examples which should inspire that there is no limit to what you can achieve by hard work. If you have those graces, if you have inherited from your parents the right genes, you are lucky. Even if you have not, you can replicate those genes by working hard, by burning midnight oil. There is no goal which is unsurmountable, which you cannot achieve. The bottom line is that hard work is the only virtue. Talent could be a gift of God, gift of your parents, but please work hard. There is nothing beyond your capacity. There is nothing which you would not be in a position to achieve. And I thank you again for the wonderful opportunity which you have given to me. It has always been a pleasure interacting with young minds, it, sort of keeps you from getting old. Uh, Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom. Your thoughts will undoubtedly inspire and guide our participants in their journey ahead. Now, I invite Dr. Aditi Gorgole, ma'am, faculty in charge, Moot Court Association, to deliver the opening address.
Respected dignitaries on the dais, respected faculty and staff members, participating teams, and dear students, a very good afternoon to you all. It is my great pleasure and honor to stand before you to deliver the opening address of the Space Law Moot Court Competition in collaboration with Antrix Corporation Limited, the commercial arm of Indian Space Research Organization. Antrix has long stood at the forefront of India's space commercialization efforts, and their partnership is both timely and deeply meaningful as we gather to explore and debate the evolving contours of space law. Space law, once a niche academic discipline, is now a critical area of global policy and international cooperation. In this context, the role of young legal minds, such as those participating today, is more important than ever. This competition is not merely an academic exercise, it is a training ground for the future negotiators, advocates, policymakers, and legal scholars who will shape the governance of space in the decades to come. Mooting, as all of us know, tests not just the knowledge of law, but also the critical thinking, ethical reasoning, and the ability to argue with both passion and precision. Over the coming days, the participants will engage in rigorous debate and experience the intensity and joy of legal advocacy. Whether you win or lose, know that you are a part of something much larger, a conversation about peace, equity, and sustainability beyond Earth's atmosphere. As we officially inaugurate the Space Law Moot Court Competition, let us look upward with curiosity and forward with conviction. On 27th September, we will be having preliminary rounds 1A and 1B from 10 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., followed by the researchers' test post-lunch. The semi-final and final rounds will be held on 28th of September, followed by the valedictory ceremony. I now formally declare Symbiosis Law School Nagpur, Antrix, Space Law Moot Court Competition 2025 open. I wish all the participants the very best. Thank you all.
As we conclude this inaugural ceremony, I now request Dr. Deepthi Gubadkar ma'am, Deputy Director, Symbiosis Law School, Nagpur, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Good evening to everyone present here. On behalf of Symbiosis Law School, Nagpur, it is my privilege to extend a vote of thanks on this special occasion. First and foremost, I express my heartfelt gratitude to our Honorable Chief Guest, Justice Shri Rohit Dev, former Judge, Bombay High Court, for gracing this inaugural ceremony with his esteemed presence and for sharing his words of wisdom about the skill sets required in the courtroom and importance of moot court. Thank you, sir, for your guidance. We are equally grateful to our honorable guest of honor, Mr. Imtiaz Ali Khan, Director, ISRO Headquarters, Department of Space, Government of India, for addressing us with such insightful thoughts about the space reforms, researches, international framework. Thank you, sir, for your guidance. We are looking forward for many more sessions in future on space law. Thank you so much. I extend our sincere thanks to Professor Dr. Sukhvinder Singh Rai, Director, Symbiosis Law School, Nagpur, for his constant support and guidance in organizing such programs. A special mention of gratitude goes to Dr. Aditi Godbole, Faculty in Charge, MCA, for thoughtfully organizing this competition. I also thank our faculty members, staff, and organizing committee whose efforts made this ceremony possible. I thank all the participants for being with us today and making this inaugural ceremony memorable. With these words of gratitude, we formally close today's ceremony and look forward to an enriching competition ahead. Thank you, sir.
As we conclude this inaugural with that, we have concluded this inaugural ceremony. I now request everyone to rise for the national anthem. Thank you all, and best wishes to all the participating teams. May this competition be a fulfilling and enriching experience for each of you. I now request all the participants and dignitaries to join us for a group photograph. I request all the participants to proceed to the assembly hall for the draw applause after the group photograph.